Hi, this is Darrell Morse with DBJ Fitness. Today we've got a lower back strengthening routine for you. The routine should take you anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes in duration. If you're a beginner, if you're in a little bit more, say, you've had a little bit of practice but still kind of in those early stages, it'd probably take you a little longer because you can repeat the routine a second or third time. So, but for general purposes, what we're going for today, just to help kind of strengthen that low back up, it's a routine that you would use 3 to 4 times a week. Again, it'll take you about 10 to 15 minutes per time. So without further ado, let's kind of move on for it. So we're going to start with a warm-up. The warm-up consists of 3 exercises that we're going to do to help lubricate and loosen up the spine. The first exercise we're going to do is nice and simple ball bounce. We just get to sit here and bounce on the ball. Nice and subtle. We're not looking for large jumps. We're just looking to take the vertebrae and kind of move them up and down and get the discs in between them to kind of lubricate and loosen up. And we do about 15 to 20 reps of these. Go pretty quickly. Then we're going to follow it up with something we call the pelvic tilt. So we're going to sit on the ball and we're going to try to kind of push the pelvic below and then arch our back. So stick that butt back. Now nice and tall posture. Just kind of tipping this back and forth. We're looking about 10 to 15 of these as well. I mean, sorry, not 10 to 15. 15 to 20 repetitions is what I would prefer. We go forward and back on the pelvic tilts. And then we can also go side to side. And it's just kind of you're lifting your hip up a little bit here. Just shifting the weight from side to side. Again, we're maintaining a good tall posture. Right? That's one of the areas we got to start strengthening to help with that low back pain that you may be suffering from. Once we've done that, that's our second exercise in our warm-up. So our third exercise is our cat and camel stretch. So we're going to line up in a 4-point position here on the floor. We want to make sure that the hands are below the elbows, and also below the shoulders, so they're going to be directly underneath. And then we've got our upper thigh is going to be perpendicular to the floor with our hips right on top of the top end of our thighs right there. So at this point, now we're going to kind of get this little arch for the cat and the camel. Now we're not looking for extremes here on your range of motion, just to create some motion and loosen up the spine. And again, our rep count would be looking for 15 to 20 of these. And you'll see that we're not going extreme in our motions. We're just getting things kind of pumped. Trying to create some movement in those vertebrae. Wonderful. So that kind of completes our warm-up portion where we're trying to lubricate and lubricate the spine. Our first exercise that we're going to do is we're going to work with the pelvic tilts from the floor. So we're going to lie in a supine position, which means we're going to lie on our back and face up. All right. Once we've kind of obtained this position, we're just going to kind of make sure you're good and comfy down here. And then the exercise that we're going to work with, like I mentioned before, is the pelvic tilt. So what we want to be able to do is kind of create an arch in the back by tipping the pelvic. So we're going to tip it and push the butt towards the floor. Once we've done that, we're going to tip it the opposite direction so we can push the back flat to the floor. Once we've done that, we want to maintain that contraction for 10 seconds. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to go ahead and arch that back again. And so you can see where I can get my hands back in there. I've got the arch. Once we've done that arch, again, we're going to tip the pelvic, push the low back flat to the floor. We're engaging the core musculature here. And again, it's a count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we would arch that back again. This exercise you would repeat for a total of 6 to 10 repetitions, which then could take you between a minute and just over a minute and a half to complete that set. Our next exercise, we're going to stay in this supine position on the floor. We're going to go ahead and tip that pelvic again because we've practiced that. got the core musculature contracted, we're supporting the spine. At this point now we're going to do something we call an alternating leg raise. So we're going to pick the legs up one at a time, but we're working on that coordination between what the abs should do and what the back needs to support. And so here we go. So I'm going to start with my right leg, and it's an up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3 count, and then we change legs. Up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Making sure we're maintaining that contraction here, holding that pelvic tilt. And we're going to continue on with that exercise. You would repeat this exercise for a total of 1 minute in duration. Good. Now we're going to move on to our third exercise in this series, and that is going to be our bird dog. So we're going to line up in this 4-point position, much like we did with our cat and camel stretch. And we're going to use our 1, 2, 3 count again to lower and raise the body part. So we're going to go opposite arm and opposite leg here. So 1, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Change them up. 1, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. We want to maintain good spinal alignment here. We've kind of got that pelvic a little bit tucked in here, maintaining that flat to neutral spine position in the back. And then we're just taking our time through that exercise. Okay? Now on that one as well, you would repeat that for approximately 1 minute in duration. And so you're looking at 6 to 10 repetitions total. Okay? Now for our last exercise in this back strengthening routine for beginners is we're going to do a back extension. So we're going to lie prone position on the floor, which basically means face down. Fingers kind of on the back of our ears. We're going to anchor our hips to the floor, draw in our belly button, and then we're going to lift our chest up. And utilizing our count, we've got down, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3, up, 2, 3. And again, you would repeat those for 1 minute in duration, which would be approximately 6 repetitions. My name is Darrell Morris with DBJ Fitness, and that's your lower back strengthening routine for beginners. And go ahead and pay attention to the credits as they scroll by to give you a list of the exercises again.